Hello, friends. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually not going to be sharing any business tips with you this time around. Because today I'm super excited to introduce you to someone who's had a profound impact on my business, both professionally and me personally. Positive psychologist, Hay House author, and high performance coach, Niyc Pidgeon. Now, I'm joined by Niyc because I invited her on to share with you some of the stuff that really isn't talked about that much in business, but I know for a fact that it's the most important stuff that we need to think about when it comes to growing and building our businesses. And that's around your personal happiness. In this interview, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the rituals that Niyc has shared with me, some of her own personal rituals that have really helped me step up in my performance as a business leader. And we're also going to be talking about how you can start to really become present to how your energy and how your personal peace and happiness has a direct impact on your business. And not only that, how it has a direct impact in how much money you make in your business. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit different, but I know you're going to get so much value from it. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Niyc Pidgeon. Niyc, welcome to the Savvy Startup Show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited for having you here. I said it in the intro, but I'm going to say it again. Like, Niyc has been so instrumental to, my coaching business. I've loved working with her for the last year. And one of the things that I have learned from you more than anything is just how important self-mastery is ahead of business mastery and how closely the two are interlinked. So I want to dig a little bit into that in today's show, if that's okay. But before we do, please could you just tell us a little bit more about the magic that you do and who it is that you serve?
Yes, so I support women coaches primarily. I do have a few dudes that I look after, but primarily women coaches who have got big goals and great attitudes. So I love working with women who are hardworking, who are coachable, who have got impact-driven missions in our world. And I help women entrepreneurs to grow million-dollar businesses, six-figure businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses, and everything in between.
Yes, and you do it so well. I think, honestly, it's really, I'm so excited because I know that a lot of my community are just starting out. The majority of them will be product-based businesses, but the insights that I really want to dig into for this episode are going to be so much more around your mindset, your attitude, and how you approach your business as a whole. And so I still think it's going to be incredible amounts of value. I found it to be incredible amounts of value to learn from you. So I thought it would be really useful just to kick off with a question around personal mastery and what that means to you.
For me, it means holding yourself accountable to a higher level in every single moment. Now, it doesn't mean beating yourself up, but it means looking at how you can make a positive choice. I actually did an interview. I think the interview was when I was doing Psychology's magazine in the UK. And they asked me, they said, Niyc, like, you've got this book about positive psychology and you coach all of these women to create success. Do you actually think you can change your mindset in a month, though? And I was like, oh my goodness, change your mindset in a month. You can change your mindset in a moment. So for me, personal mastery is actually more about the small, tiny choices that you make in the moments that mount up to create a completely different version of the woman that you end up becoming.
Yes, it's so true. But that's the part that no one teaches you. No one ever tells you that you actually have to work on yourself as much as you are working in your business in order for you to not feel like you're hitting that glass ceiling.
Yeah. And you'll notice if you have a business block, it's actually not often a business block. People will be like, how can I uncover what it is that's wrong with my strategy, or what is the next new system that I need? And yes, we can all learn all of the new things and implement them. But if we're implementing them without self-belief or without emotional health or without clarity, or if we've got brain fog because we've got stuff going on in our personal lives that we haven't cleared out of the way, then we're not going to be able to accelerate as rapidly as we could if we've actually done the inner work first.
Yes, this is so, so true. Do you know what? As you were speaking, I was just thinking about what was one of the hardest things for me, actually. And it was taking that time going through a lot of the mindset work in your program, and actually just being a little bit still for a bit. And because I think we all want this new strategy, don't we? We all want the new thing that's going to, like, we're going to turn on, and like you get all of the strategy. But the most powerful thing has definitely been even just being a bit more disciplined around rituals, which I want to talk about a little bit, because I feel like you have like the most insane ritual game.
I
I've
love
ever
a
had.
ritual.
I know, but I wanted you to share with our listeners and our viewers, what does the typical morning ritual look like for Niyc Pidgeon?
So it's interesting because I've had a big shift over the last couple of years because I actually got super sick, and the morning ritual that I was doing involved a lot of pushing. So it involved me getting up at the crack of dawn, doing my ritual at 5:30, being like, come on, gotta do this. Now I take a more gentle approach, and I still have something that's very structured, and I have something that feels very good. And it's something that I'm committed to doing every day, but it's something that now has a completely different energy around it. So previously, and this is a big distinction that I've actually learned for myself, previously I used to do the morning ritual to force myself to feel good so that I could be better in my business. Now my focus on the ritual is, how can I really enjoy this? Like, how can I
Yeah.
really like be more present in the ritual? How can I feel better in the ritual? How can I nourish myself and really like absorb all of the goodness from this? And then the byproduct or the result that I get is that I feel great during my day and I've got all of the energy and all of the vibes for my business. So the way that I structure mine is I always start with breath work and meditation. So, sometimes you wake up, sometimes you feel great, sometimes you wake up and you're just like a little bit tired. And it
Yeah.
kind of transitions you from that, oh my goodness, I still feel a bit sleepy and tired, into really getting all of your life force energy moving. So I'll do some rapid breath work, sit in meditation once you feel the energy moving in your body. I'll do shamanic shaking. So getting any negativity, any tension, any unresolved emotions, getting them out of your body. And then I'll do some dancing. I'll then work with my affirmations and I'll work on my vision. And I actually read through my goals as well as write down my goals as well as speak out my goals. So I'm hitting it on lots of different like ways of expressing and internalizing. And the morning ritual
Yeah.
for me, it doesn't take very long. Like it takes maybe 15 minutes. And then on other days, if I want to dive into it and I want to do a real long one, it can take 45 minutes, just depending on how much time I want to invest. But it's something that feels really, really good. And you'll notice if you ever miss a day, you'll probably notice more about how bad you feel when you miss a day.
100%. So, so true. Thank you for sharing that. And it's so, so true because it really sets you up for the day. And I think it sets you up almost to win, like
Yeah.
no matter what the day throws at you, you're still going to have off days, but it sets you up to kind of be able to cope, or for me anyway, to be able to cope with those off days a little bit easier.
It gives you so
So,
much certainty. So I often
mm,
refer to a morning ritual as a self-belief practice. So I feel
mm,
like morning ritual used to be something that was weird. Now it's something that's very common. And I feel like because it's so common, it almost runs the risk of losing its power. So I love to like
mm,
frame it in different ways and say this is your embodiment practice, or this is your self-belief practice, or your certainty practice, because it's that
mm.
unstoppable feeling that you get inside of yourself when you've done this practice in the morning. You're like, I'm ready to go. I feel like a bigger, brighter, stronger, more powerful, more ready version of myself. And that's what we get to bring to our relationships, our business, our everything that we do in life. We get to bring our fullest, best, most energized self.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And our happiest self. This is the thing that I'm so like loving what you're saying, and what I've really become present to as well is how quickly you can change your state
Mm.
if you really do follow some of these processes. But before we get into that, I wanted to almost cast your mind back a little bit, because I have a lot of listeners on this show who are, maybe just starting out, maybe just thinking about starting a business. And I'd love to cast your mind back to before you decided you were going to really go for it and decided, no, I'm going to only work for myself and I'm really going to go for it. Was there a defining moment that for you that you thought, okay, I'm going to go for this business by hook or by crook, I'm going to make it work?
It's such a great question. I think I've had a knowingness since I was a kid that I would be successful. Now, just because I knew I would be successful, it doesn't mean that I was. Because I struggled for a long, long time, and I found business and some of life in general, found it really tough. So a lot of what I teach now is born from having struggled rather than things having just been a total breeze. I feel like when I got really committed was when I decided to leave the UK, because I'd been testing things. I'd been running businesses since 2010 was my first launch of a business. And I'd had success in terms of I loved what I did, but I wasn't making the money to match it. So in 2015, I decided I was going to leave the UK and write a book. So that in itself was a big commitment. It was like, right, you're going to go and write a book. You're going to leave the UK. I sold my car. I moved out of my apartment. I had my bag of crystals in my suitcase. And my dad dropped me off at the airport. And he said to me, I was like, Dad, I'm so scared. Like, I'm really scared to go on this journey. I'm scared to go on this trip. He said, I know you are, Nick. I know you are, darling, but you're going to be all right. And if it's not all right, you can just come home. So that gave me a lot of personal peace to know, like, even though I'm embarking on this thing where I'm launching my online location independent business and I'm burning my bridges behind me because I don't have anywhere to live in the UK anymore, there's still an option. Like, if I want to come home, I can just come home. So it felt like very comforting for me. And at the same time, I was now on the other side of the world without many friends or family or the structure that I'd been used to operating in. So I gave myself this big, bold push and this big leap of going around the world, which was one of the things that helped me get really laser focused and really, really committed. And it was in that time, in those first 3 months of launching the business online, being away in Australia and New Zealand, that I found the fire inside of myself. And I was like, right, this is it. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Sometimes you do need to just be alone with yourself, really, to sort of make that commitment. But I love what Daddy Pigeon said, because I feel like it's a metaphor for business, isn't it? It's like, if it doesn't work out, just come home.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. Like, I love that story, because I think so many times when people are, setting out to do something, because it is scary and exciting in equal measures, we almost feel like, well, you've made that decision now and you'll never be able to come back. But actually, you can.
Yeah,
At any point.
exactly. I always think it's like, even if you like take the risk, you're going to learn something. So it's not like you either do this or you fail. It's like, do it, try it, test it, see how it goes, and know that you're always going to grow because of that. And you're always going to have learned, you're always going to have evolved. So you're going to be in a better position than if you hadn't have taken the risk.
Yeah, 100%. I think you learn more. And actually, that brings me on to my next question, in terms of, what would you say has been the biggest learning that you have experienced from something that didn't go to plan? I'm not going to call it a failure, but maybe didn't go the way that you wanted it to go. What's been the biggest thing that you've taken from that? And also, the second part of that question is, what mindset shift did you have to make to bounce back from it?
There's a couple of things that stand out, like, that immediately jump into my mind when you ask that question. So the first thing is, at this time that we've just been talking about, when I was in New Zealand, I launched the business with a business model and a plan and a Facebook ad strategy that I'd been working on for 6 months with my team, my assistant at the time, and it didn't work. So it launched and we got leads and things, but I didn't make any sales. So at that time, I was really confused and really embarrassed, actually, Irene. I was really embarrassed that I'd launched this thing and no one had signed up. And I had all of these feelings and thoughts around, what do other people think of me? I've launched this thing no one's bought. Do I decrease the price to try and get people in? And all of this stuff came up. I was like almost frantic in terms of like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And what I actually decided to do was drop into my mindset practice, my positive psychology practice, and flood my day with positive, aligned, focused things. So listening to audiobooks, listening to podcasts, going out and walking and moving my body. And that has started to shift this worry and this total fear that I felt, which allowed me to make a next positive choice. And my next positive choice at that time was to go and work with a coach. So that really helped me, but I had to do the work in myself first, because actually the way that I found the coach was I did a meditation as part of this morning ritual practice. And I said, I'm looking for guidance. I want to receive guidance. And this person messaged me on Facebook that I'd never heard of before, never seen. And she actually became my coach. So that's definitely something that stands out for me. Another thing that stands out is more to do with trusting yourself. So this is something that became a theme for me probably from 2017 to 2018. And this was where I started to look for other people's opinions and advice and support to make decisions for my life and business. So I'll give you a specific example. I had a partner at the time, and he was super successful in his field of work, totally different industry to mine. And I thought, oh, he must have good advice. Like, he's done really well, so I'm going to listen to him. And there was a couple of decisions that I asked for support on. Intuitively, I had the decision that for me would have felt like the right thing to do. But because someone else said something different, I actually put the power outside of myself and trusted somebody else's opinion. And it turned out to be a poor decision. So that was a big learning for me in terms of mindset, because it really taught me to obviously trust in mentors and trust in coaches and stuff that have walked the path before you. And also, when you have those intuitive hits and nudges, don't put the power outside of yourself. Always listen to your gut and see where that's trying to guide you. It would have saved me a lot of time, energy, and money if I'd done that. But at the same time, I wouldn't have had the amazing, powerful lesson that I now have.
Yes, yes, and that's so true, isn't it? And I think sometimes we all fall into that trap of everyone feeling like everyone knows better than we do. When actually, as you said, if you just take that time to maybe just listen in a little bit more and tap into it and trust that intuition, you get so much value from that as well. Just really knowing that you have so many of the answers within you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It does make such a difference. And I think it's almost like a strengthening. Like, one of the things I say in my book is what starts as a whisper can turn into a roar. So when it comes to
Yeah.
intuition, like, we get to get accomplished at listening to the whispers and really tuning into what it is our intuition is guiding us towards, before we're in one of those situations where it's like alarm bells, oh my God, don't do this. So
Yeah.
just start to get used to listening to the nuances, and it'll strengthen itself. You'll start to feel intuitive hits more of the time. You'll start to trust yourself more of the time. You'll start to make good decisions more of the time. And then that momentum really snowballs. When people talk about like, I'm in the flow or I'm in alignment,
Yeah.
I see that like living from intuition can actually guide you there.
Absolutely, 100%. It's actually something that I've proactively sought out, is like practices to really tap into my intuition. And actually, I think your course, Happy Women Make More Money, really, really has helped me with that. Starting to really listen to how my mood, how I'm showing up is starting to really impact not just how I feel and how the day runs, but how actually I'm showing up in my business and the impact. It's almost like my business is a mirror of me. And so reminding myself of that through that program has really helped. And there's something that you said, you talk about in the program, that I kind of want to touch on a little bit. And it's that kind of, how do you know when something is intuition because we all deal with negative self-talk, right? That's one of my biggest challenges, is that sort of little voice in the back, in the bottom of your, back of your
Yeah.
head telling you something. So how do you know when something is sort of intuition versus, maybe just some bad, negative self-talk in the background? How do you kind of, especially if someone's brand new at this, how do you kind of differentiate the two?
It's a great question, and it comes back to, what are you doing daily to help you get clear,
Mm.
and what are you doing daily to help you get quiet and tune in. So one of the things that I love to do in terms of a practice, if I want to check in with how I feel about something, is I get out
Yeah,
of the busy space first. So when we're on our
yeah.
laptops, when we're in our to-do list, when we're with our teams, or like in amongst all of the things that we have going on in life, it's very easy to become distracted by your own thinking. And that thinking, it's said that most of
Mm.
our thoughts are negative. So we have to guide them towards being positive, and that's where our work lies. But if you're busy and
Mm.
you think just thinking in this space of negativity or procrastination or rumination or destruction, you're naturally going to go towards one of those thoughts, because they're the ones that are often the most repeating and looping. So, what I
Yeah.
love to do is take myself out of that situation. So, before making any decisions, I'm not going to do it from a busy place. I'm not going to do it from an emotional place. I'm going to go and I'm going to walk and I'm going to meditate. So, I'm going to move.
Mm.
So, move that energy in your body. And then I'm going to sit and I'm going to get quiet and I'm going to get clear. And then I'm going to check in with what it is I'm thinking and feeling. That's where you've got much more access to your intuition. And it might be that
Mm.
you aren't able to do that straight away. Not You can't always just like tap out and, right, I'm going to go
Yeah.
meditate. But you could create a portion of your day which is dedicated to that. So you say, I noticed these things came up during my day. I'm going to put them in the notes section of my phone and I'm going to revisit at a more appropriate
Mm.
time. And that's how I love to lean into it. I also love to put a pause on decisions if I don't know what my answer is. So I used to be the
Yeah.
yes girl, where I'm like, yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll do it. And I'm just like over giving everywhere. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, I was like, oh, I'm too tired to go to that thing. Or I really don't
Mm.
want to do that thing. It doesn't feel right. So for me, it's been a great practice to get comfortable with saying no first. And then if
Mm.
something, saying no, and if something changes, I'll come back to you. Or thank you so much for inviting me. I'm just going to take a couple of days. I'm going to check in, see what I've got going on, and come back to you. So now you're
Mm.
creating a broader container so you can check in and see, rather than me just leaping in and saying yes to every opportunity. I'm like, what
Mm.
is actually in alignment with myself? What is in alignment with my bigger, broader initiatives for the year? What is in alignment with my purpose or my mission? And does this thing over here
Mm.
feel icky? Does it feel like an obligation, or does it feel like something that's really exciting and aligned for me?
Yes. Yes. So simple, but so powerful. And I really think that tapping into what actually feels good, what makes you feel happy and excited, completely shifts your energy around any project. And I kind of want to just explore a little bit the relationship between happiness and business. Well, happiness and money, really, because
Mm,
I think that was almost a bit of a surprise for me, if I'm going to be honest, when I, first started delving into that program, was the very close link to, your happiness and the happiness of your business.
yeah.
So I want to dig into that a little bit more. I mean, first of all, what does true happiness mean for you?
So for me, like, happiness for me is a lot about and also fulfillment, as well as those
Mm.
moments of pure joy. So I think
Yes.
contentment is actually very underrated. And one of my friends used to say to me that personal peace was something that was really important for her. And I used to think, personal peace, what do you mean? But I think because
Mm.
I got myself to that space that I didn't put that very highly, but now I really, really rate that, because I've noticed where I haven't had personal peace in the past, and it provides a contrast. So for me, it's about being able to live in that place of contentment, having a passion that is purposeful. So that brings the sense of accomplishment and the sense of fulfillment, and really grounds you in a deeper meaning with a higher purpose for your life or your business. And then also
Mm.
doing things that make you feel really good. Like I always love to like write a list of things that bring me joy and look at where I can actually mindfully include them in my week. So rather than just knowing that you like to go for picnics or knowing that you like to go for walks or you like to race cars, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? Because you deserve to have those moments of joy. And what we see is that when you have more moments of joy within yourself, you actually open up the whole of your thinking, you open up your mindset, you open up yourself to be more creative, to be better at building relationships. You can move faster towards your goals. You're more fun to be around and it feels better too. So why wouldn't you want to be happier?
Yeah. Oh my God, this is so true though. And this sounds really sad. I think I've said it on this show before, but I actually make like a planner fun. You know, I'm a planner. I love a good plan. But I think if you don't, sometimes we can get so caught up in the building and the growing and everything else. If you don't plan that in, sometimes it just doesn't happen for
Yeah.
months and months. And then why your energy feels so depleted, right?
Exactly. And then you
Yeah.
end up in a space where you're kind of resentful, especially if you're looking at a business. If you're there's this like throwing this like opposite between overgiving and resentment and bitterness.
Mm.
So it's you want to avoid the dance between the two and you want to make sure that you are developing a sense in your business that you really love what you do and you feel good doing it. So rather than getting
Mm.
into the place of pouring yourself into 14-hour days for the next 4 years and getting to the end and being like, I hate my business. You don't hate your
Mm.
business. You've just overworked and you haven't looked after yourself. So you're not feeling that sense of joy, happiness, and fulfillment. So we'll see
Mm.
that women, because this happens all of the time, I see it in women coaches and entrepreneurs all of the time. They
Mm.
come back out of their business and they take a week off or they take a couple of days off, however long it takes to recharge. And they're like, oh, I do love what I do. I was just setting it
Mm.
up all wrong.
Yes, yes. And I really encourage anyone who has felt like that because it's something that people don't really talk about. When I remember my first conversation with you, Nick, was the fact that, I felt like I'd fallen out of love with my agency. That was the thing that I was really struggling with. And I really encourage anyone who has felt like they've maybe built a business that they are less aligned to, or maybe they're building a business that feels very much like their 9 to 5. Check out this program, Happy Women Make More Money, because it really does get you to take radical accountability for your
Mm.
own happiness, first and foremost, but also really it makes you explore the relationship between how you're showing up and how you're filling up your cup and how that's translating into your business. So I just wondered, Nick, would you mind just talking a little bit about, that very powerful connection between your personal happiness and your business happiness?
Yeah, it comes through everything that you do, and I firmly believe like how you do life is how you do business, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I believe in building amazing people, and the amazing business will come. I feel like when women come and work with us in Unstoppable Success, a lot of the hook and the excitement is about the money, is about the business success. And what actually
Mm.
happens at the end of the program is people look back and they're like, oh my goodness, I'm so much happier now. I really enjoy my business. Like they've got a great business, but they've got this sense of fulfillment as well. So we see from the
Mm.
science of positive psychology, there's so many links between happiness and success. And people have it so backwards. So previously or traditionally, the notion has been, or the understanding or the thinking has been, when I am successful, I am going to be happy. Okay, so it's
Mm.
like this goal that's like way over here, and it's like I'm going to allow myself to be happy when I get the 10K month, or when I get the $1 million business, or when I sign my first client. But actually, you're blocking yourself for even receiving those opportunities, because when you're in a closed down state, when you're not in a peak state, you are actually
Mm.
switched off to the intake of information. You can't see the
Mm.
opportunities around you. I like to say it's like you're the driver in a car, and the windshield is showing you the road up ahead. It's showing you the path. It's showing you the people that are passing you on the street that are the new clients. But your windshield is covered in muck. It's like totally unable to be
Mm.
seen through. So you've got these window wipers, which are your daily mindset work, which is your morning ritual. And what they're doing is they're cleaning the windshield of your mind in order to allow you to drive more powerfully towards your goals. So we
Mm.
have found that up to a certain point, money can make you happy. So people like nice things, it gives you more choices, it gives you a better quality of living and living standard. And after a certain point, money has more problems associated with it. So they see that people
Mm.
actually don't get happier after a certain point. But the work that we get to do on ourselves is within ourselves every single day. So rather than you saying
Mm.
happiness is over here and I'm going to have it next week or next year or in 10 years' time when I retire, like you can do work in a moment by practicing things like gratitude or by using the tools within Happy Women Make More Money to
Mm.
practically just ground yourself in the present or focus on the future. The tools will work differently. Maybe it's tracking something different or focusing on prosperity. But there's practical daily tools that you can implement that allow you to feel better more of the time, which means that you're in a more energized place and state. You've already got the happiness. You're on the right frequency to receive, and more opportunities are going to come your way. If you're showing
Mm.
up and you're feeling good, it's like you enjoy your life so much more, but other people are going to be more gravitated towards you as well.
Yes, this is so, so true. I've seen this in the last year, just how much showing up in joy and
Mm,
gratitude and happiness has literally, I can't even believe some of the opportunities that have, been presented, opportunities to work with people like you, to work with, female festival of female entrepreneurs, so many opportunities just from genuinely stepping into that space and doing the work, and following those rituals, which are, in the beginning are quite difficult. I'm not going to lie. But what I love about this program, what I love about Happy Women Make More Money is the fact that you can literally everything that you need is in that program to make a start in really taking control of your state.
mm.
And there is definitely something in being more attractive to the outside world, because all of a sudden it's almost like you start fielding opportunities rather than looking to be visible all the time,
Yeah.
you
Instead of
know?
instead of the push, it's more of a receiving
Yes.
energy. It dives into you as well, like a lot around money story. So I know I mentioned
Mm.
before that the reason that I teach a lot of what I teach is because I've had to like break through it for myself. So Happy Women
Mm.
Make More Money is really going to dive into where are the thoughts coming from, or where are the feelings coming from, or where are the blocks coming from that are getting in the
Mm.
way of your personal and professional success right now. So it like for
Mm.
me, one of the things that I noticed was when I was a kid, we used to go to the store in England, Toys R Us. We used to go to Toys R Us every year to get the latest board game at Christmas. It was like a thing that we did
Mm.
as a family. And all of the kids
Yeah.
at school would be getting this cool board game, like that Dream Phone or whatever one it was for the year, the cool
Yeah.
one for the year. And I was never allowed the board game that I wanted. Never allowed it. It was like, you're not getting that, but you're allowed this thing down here. So I built up
Mm-hmm.
this feeling of like, I'm not able to get what I want. So that was one of the
Yeah.
blocks that I had to work through, and always being told, like, you can't have this, but you can have this. So through the work that I did in my business, I was like, I'm going to make sure that I can create my own dreams and have all of the things that I want and help so many women have that for themselves too.
Yes, yes, yes. And you're so right, I love to give really practical advice on this show. And so I wonder if, because I know so many people struggle with sort of their money mindset or beliefs that just aren't serving them anymore around money specifically. What would be your kind of top three tips, if you like, for anyone who is really deciding that, okay, this is the year that I'm gonna unpack this. I'm gonna look at where this has come from. I know it's holding me back, and I really want to start thinking about how I can switch my money mindset to be more positive and invite more things into my life I actually want.
Mm.
What would be your sort of
Go hard, start now, don't stop. So
yes?
I would say, yeah, like if you're thinking about money mindset can be a thing, or mindset work in general can be a thing that I see a lot of people put off until they feel ready. But the fact that you're even listening or watching to this podcast right now, it means that you're available for your own next level. Now, I didn't stop doing mindset work just because I created a certain level of success. It's an ongoing thing. And I've got really good at, if I notice something is bothering me, or I notice I'm feeling a way that I don't like to feel, or I'm not getting a result I want, I'm really good at going, okay, let's go in. Like, let's dive into this practice. Let's make sure I deepen my morning ritual. Let's make sure I do some more subconscious work with my subconscious coach. Let's make sure I'm getting laser focused and being very honest with myself about what it is that is going on or maybe not going on. And I think that fast action commitment is something that is really, really important when it comes to mindset. Because why would you want to have this thing that hangs over you that is limiting you from being your highest potential or your highest expression, when you can do something simple right now to actually get into a place where you start to feel good? So I would say definitely start now and just don't stop. Like, personal development is never going to be done, and it's an amazing adventure that we're so, so grateful to be able to be on, because a lot of people don't even know what personal development is. So I feel super grateful to have been able to do the work to help myself feel better more of the time.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love what you just said. I want to underline this in case anyone missed it. Be available for your next level. Like, be available for it. Like, honestly, if you're listening to this show, if you're watching, you already know that you're capable of more. So, I definitely encourage you to check out this program. It's had a huge impact on the way that I've seen things and the way that I've been able to switch my state. I'm going to put links to it in the show notes. So definitely check it out. Nick, I could literally talk to you all day, but I know you're super busy.
I
So
agree.
thank
I could
you
talk to you
so,
all day.
so much.
You're welcome.
I know
Thank
I love
you.
talking to you.
Thank you.
One more question before you go. My final question. What is the smartest piece of advice that anyone has ever given to you in business?
I wonder if it would be classed as in business, but like I said, I think everything is business. Life is
Yeah.
business is life. I think one of the most profound pieces of information or advice that I got was to always be yourself. Now, it sounds really basic, but think about where that actually comes through and what that means. That means having the confidence to be yourself. That means not allowing people to, or not being bothered when people judge you. That means being comfortable enough to express yourself. That means getting visible online. That means saying no to the things that you don't want to do. That means living your truth. It's a big thing. Some people are like, yeah, just be yourself. But that allowed me to really stick to who I am. And it means that when I show up and speak with you here, or speak with you on a call privately, or go and stand on stage, I'm the same person. So it's meant that I have a great deal of personal peace because I'm not separating myself from the inside out. So the more yourself that you can be, the easier it is going to be for you, the better you're going to feel. And actually, by being more yourself, you're going to stand out.
Yes, 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 because there's only one of you. I love that advice. It's something that I fully, fully stand behind. Just genuinely sharp as yourself, no apologies. And I have loved it just chatting with you. Thank you for all the insights that you've given to our readers and our listeners, sorry, and our viewers on the show. And I can't wait to see what you do. Guys, if you haven't checked out Happy Women Make More Money, please head over to the show notes. Check it out. It really is such a powerful tool to get you really being in control of your state and seeing how it impacts you in all of your life. So definitely check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Nick.
you.